that what we had uncovered was the determination of these large endowed foundations through their trustees to actually get control over the content of American education. He said, Mr. Dodd, all of us that have a hand in the making of policies here have had experience either with the OSS during the war or the European Economic Administration after the war. We've had experience operating under directives, and these directives emanate and did emanate from the White House. Now we still operate under just such directives. Would you like to know what the substance of these directives is? And I said, yes, Mr. Gaither, I'd like very much to know. Whereupon he made this statement to me, namely, Mr. Dodd, we are here operate on in response to similar directives, the substance of which is that we shall use our grant-making power so to alter life in the United States that it can be comfortably merged with the Soviet Union. Well, parenthetically, Mr. Griffin, I nearly fell off the chair. My response to Mr. Gaither then was, oh, Mr. Gaither, I can now answer your first question. You forced the Congress of the United States to spend $150,000 to find out what you just told me. So why don't you I said, of course, legally you're entitled to make grants for this purpose, but I don't think you're entitled to withhold that information from the people of the country to whom you're indebted for your tax exemption. So why don't you tell the people of the country that's what you told me? And his answer was, we would not think of doing any such thing. She'd been a practicing attorney in Washington, but she was on my staff to see to it that I didn't break any congressional procedures or rules. In addition to which, she was unsympathetic to the purpose of the investigation. She was level-headed and a very reasonably brilliant, capable lady. And her attitude toward the investigation was, what could possibly be wrong with foundations? They do so much good. And in that year, the trustees, meeting for the first time, raised a specific question, which they discussed throughout the balance of the year in a very learned fashion. And the question is there any means known more effective than war, assuming you wish to alter the life of an entire people? And they conclude that no more effective means than war to that end is known to humanity. So then in 1909 they raised the second question and discussed it, namely, how do we involve the United States in a war? We must control the State Department. We must take over it and control the diplomatic machinery of this country. dispatched to President Wilson a telegram cautioning him to see that the war does not end too quickly. To prevent a reversion, we must control education in the United States. That portion of education which could be considered domestic be handled by the Rockefeller Foundation, and that portion which is international should be handled by the endowment. Well, she never was able to return to her law practice, but ultimately she lost her mind as a result of it. Stop the completion of this investigation in the direction that it was moving, which would have been an exposure of this Carnegie endowment story and the Ford Foundation and the Gugenheim and the Rockefeller Foundation, all working in harmony toward the control of education in the United States.
How do you see that the purpose and direction of the major foundations has changed over the years to the present? What is it today?
100% behind meeting the cost of education such as it is presented through the schools and colleges of the United States.
Why do the foundations generously support communist causes in the United States?
Well, because to them, communism represents a means of developing what we call a monopoly. As the organization will say of large-scale industry into an administrable unit.